Okay, so how do I generate paperwork from this, right? So paperwork is a really important part of what we do, right? Both a light plot, and then we're going to need a channel hookup and an instrument schedule, and we need to be able to generate, even if we're using this as a PDF, we still need to generate this information and be able to send it to the electricians so that they can utilize the information. So the first thing I'll do is maybe I'll just go back to my channel layout. And all of these layouts that we're looking at right now are essentially just in spreadsheet form. It's just like you were looking at an Excel document, right? So each item is a cell, and inside of that cell is all of this information. But this is not how it's going to be organized when we print, right? So there are 3 tabs that are across the bottom, and we're in Worksheet tab right now. If we go to Layout tab, right, let's just click the Layout tab, and now it wants to know, hey, what size of paper do you think you're going to be working on? And are you going to be in portrait or landscape mode? I'm just going to leave it all at its default, 8.5 by 11 portrait mode, and I'll say okay. Right? So now it shows me, and again I'm just using my mouse wheel, you can use this at the side. This shows me what it'll look like when it is printed. Right? This is just exactly what it'll look like when it's printed. It's got the title up here. It has the kind of paperwork that it is, that it's a channel hookup. It has the page, the date. At the very bottom of the page, it's probably going to have my licensing information, right? And now let's talk a little bit about some of the controls that are here inside of this layout option. Right, so up here I have magnifying glass, and I can zoom in or I can zoom out. If I zoom out the first time, it shows me the full page, and it shows me my Lightwright version at the bottom, and then it also shows this channel hookup in order. Now, if I want to go to the next page to look at the next page, I can go just these little arrows that are up here, right, that show me what information, right, or the various page numbers. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to zoom in a little. I'll click back in, and we'll see that we have all these columns. You may or may not have these columns on your drawing, right, or on your Lightwright file. You may have other things there. You may be missing some of this information, right? So there's a lot of things that may or may not be part of your drawing or part of your Lightwright file. Now, the way that you can get rid of a column, it's very Macintosh. But if I just hover my little hand over the column, let's just say, for example, that I want to do away with the Gobo column. If I just click on the Gobo column, see how I can grab it? I've pressed and hold, and I can drag it to the trash can, and it will delete the Gobo column. That column doesn't exist. But maybe I want other columns to show up, right? Or I want to bring my Gobo column back. If you go to Layout Options, and down here it says Body Columns. Body Columns will open this dialog box. And in this dialog box, a little blue dot is all of the information that is available to you, right? This is where you have information available to you. This Vectorworks information over here is probably not user editable, right? But all the other stuff over here is available. If it's got a little I next to it, that means it's part of that data exchange. So let's go ahead and click back on Gobo. And now let's say OK. Right? And so now it's added our Gobo column back. So let's go back to our layout, body columns, and maybe we're going to need our DMX universe information, right? I think that we had DMX universe information out there. Where is that? Is it out here? Instrument load, an accessory. maybe since we're not using any DMX quantity, DMX universe, I don't think that we've actually imported it. However, had we had any instruments, that would be an option that is out here that we have information, right, that you can turn columns on and off. And let's say okay, right? You may also want to rearrange columns, right? So I can change the position of them just by clicking on them and dragging them across. Maybe I want unit number before I want position. You can change this around however you want, and you can resize. See how I just hover in between? I can go ahead and make some columns wider, right? Maybe my gobo doesn't need to be quite so wide. I could expand my color. And what it just allows you to do is to fit more information on a line. If I extend that out, you can see how the Source 4 Junior fits more accurately, right? So this is just a little bit about layout. Now, this is for the channel hookup. Each layout is different, right? So instrument schedule versus channel hookup. This is the channel hookup. Let's go ahead and over here, this pull-down menu gives you all of the different sorts of layouts or prints that you might want. So we chose channel hookup. If we go down and we click on instrument schedule, this is listed by position. And we have the exact same parameters. I can choose what columns exist here. And I can, by layout options, body columns, I can decide what columns I want to include or not include. I'll just cancel this. And I can also then decide where I want them in the list. And I could decide what size they want to be. Maybe I want a little more room for my channels so that I see that information more clearly. But this shows the first electric, the second electric. The same tools apply, right? If I want to zoom out, I can do that and I see the full page view. If I want to go to my next page, I can skip to the next page. And you'll note that it's included the gobo. Here might be a good example. Let's go ahead and zoom back in, right? I can see that my gobo number, see how it sort of does a wraparound so that I get the whole number? If I make that column a little wider, where do my gobos go? Oh, they're back on the previous page now that I've changed it. Gobo, here they are. But by changing that column width, I'm able to include all of those numbers, right, in the same width. Let's do zoom out, right? And the body column is available up at the top only, right? But you can adjust so that things fit more, normally, that they don't do a weird wraparound in a weird place. It's never going to be perfect, but it's going to be okay. You'll also notice that the channel numbers, that it's been on all the documents, channels are always in parentheses. So anytime you see a number in parentheses, it corresponds to a channel number. So that's a little bit about how to do layout. There's a whole lot of different layouts, but we've done just the first two primary ones, and we'll come back with a little more information.